Welcome to Blueprint Boost for Contractors, the podcast that's your go-to source for unlocking the secrets to successful marketing, gaining valuable insights, and growing your contracting business with less stress. Your host is David Brooks, and he's thrilled to be your guide on this journey. As a seasoned expert in the contracting industry, David understands the challenges you face. That's why each episode is crafted to provide you with actionable strategies and proven blueprints to boost your business to new heights.
Hello, we'd like to welcome everyone to the latest podcast episode. I'm your host, David Brooks. We do have a guest with us for this episode, and I'll allow him to introduce himself.
Hi, David. My name is Pat Morstad. I'm the owner of Precision Landscape here in Ottertail, and also the owner of Precision Electric too.
All right. Well, welcome, Pat. So we got a mix of two companies. Can you take us a little bit through the journey for both companies?
Yeah, well, so like the electric is pretty short and sweet. So the electric company, we just recently acquired that company approximately about 1 year ago, and basically got that up and running, and developed some of our systems and our processes to put into that company. The past owner was ready to exit, and we had some conversations with him about that, and we were able to integrate that within our landscaping company. So it's been a wonderful addition, and some really good, amazing people that we've been able to bring on with that. So the landscape company, we've been functioning as a full-time entity for probably about 20 years now, and we've been, over all of those years, we've been profitable, but over the last 3, we've really made a big push to grow and scale ourselves, and grow from essentially 1 million in revenue to this year we're going to be doing about 8 million in revenue. So
Nice, excellent. So you mentioned over the past 3 years you started to accelerate your growth. Can you take us through that process?
yeah, so the process is looking at a couple of different things. I would say the most important thing was me and my change, and my own personal mindset change, because it was my belief lid that was low and keeping us where we were at. And then when I got involved with Brandon Dawson from Cardone Ventures, he helped me, I would say, transform that mindset to more of an abundance mindset, knowing full well that everything is out there and available for us if we go after it and try to get it. So that transformation has been a couple of different things, and that it includes us, what we're personally doing, what we're doing professionally, and how we look at stuff from a financial standpoint. And those changes all happen culturally within our own culture, and what we were allowing and what we're not allowing anymore. How we've brought in some really, I would say, truly amazing people, and people who we love, care, and appreciate, and it's been a good thing for us as a company, and it's been amazing to be able to work with those kinds of people, to put them in our organization and be able to help them look at their goals personally, professionally, and financially.
Nice, excellent. So you were able to kind of get assistance and help to kind of transform your mindset, and being able to put the right people in places and culturally is important too as well. And that help started to change the things inside of your company, and it allowed you to facilitate that growth.
Yeah, 100%. Everything starts with, if your business is failing, it's because of you, right? It's your fault. It's not the people, There's nobody else around. It's 100% you. So, our business wasn't failing, but we weren't accelerating at the rates that I was content with, right? So when I had hired Brandon as my consultant, he helped me see and realize my own personal faults. So when I started to change myself and looked at myself on how I change and develop new things that I get to learn that I didn't know that I didn't know, and those things that are literally the factors of changing and developing myself into a different person allows my world to change around me. So once that was worked on and what it is that I was able to do to change myself, then all of a sudden then I could start going in and working on these other intricate parts of business. So we worked on the finances, we worked on the operations, we worked on the people, we worked on sales, we worked on marketing, and those things, when you start putting them all together and making them better, again, is it perfect? No, absolutely not. But every day we get better and better, right? And every day, our people, work better and better and get I would say closer to what it is that they want to achieve too. And so when we start aligning the goals of the company and the goals of the people, then all of this world starts to become amazing and works very well together in synergy. So
Oh, that's excellent to be able to hear that and to be able to see it unfold as you were able to kind of have that growth. You were change things organizationally, but you ever touched on the finances and you touched on the marketing, and which all different components of the business are so crucial because sometimes if you have one area that you're doing really well in, another area that you may not, be doing well in could be holding you back.
yeah, and you also you got to treat them all almost as their own separate engines, right?
Yeah.
And we attacked the engine that was literally what we felt was our biggest weakness, right? And that biggest weakness was literally our people. And so how did we have to work on changing ourselves culturally within, as an organization? And once we started working on that, then we found another weakness, and then the other weakness. And it's like those are the things that you got to be constantly moving back and forth to be able to acknowledge, accept and acknowledge, and then act on those things to move them forward. So
Yeah, and that's so true. Like, each thing is its own separate, almost like a separate entity, and you have to, put a lot of time and energy into each bucket. You can't neglect one over the other, which is, vitally important for you to be able to kind of look at each of those areas and dedicate the time and attention to that, so that things can move forward.
yeah, and sometimes too, it's as you start to grow and get bigger, it's how you need to be able to train somebody in to be able to do what it was that you were doing, so that they can now be delegated to do that role and responsibility, so that you can then focus on the next thing yourself too. So that's always been a tricky component of stuff, right? So that's the fun part of the game.
Yeah. And that's a lot of businesses are faced with that situation where, it's, you have to be able to put the right people in place and you have to be able to let go of the reins uh at times because, everything can't stop and end with you. Because what if something happens, right? And you need to be on leave or you need to step away or you have to deal with an emergency. Like, does the business shut down when you decide that you have to take care of a other obligation, something else is going on, and then boom, just everything just stops. Nobody knows what to do. The right people aren't in place, but if you put the right people in place and you learn to let go and you learn to train and mentor people, you'll be able to set yourself up for success.
Yeah, I mean, I think every owner that wants to run I think everybody has the desire to want to run a successful business, right? The reality is sometimes they don't start to think about, like, when they start that business, what are they doing right now today so that they can exit that business in the future, right? Because that's ultimately, that's the end game. So you start this, you build it, you create all of this, you then have an opportunity to be able to sell it to exit, right? But if you have a business that is literally self-reliant upon you as the sole entity, or the decision maker on everything, that desire for you to sell it is very high, but then the want for somebody else to want to buy that is much less, because they're solely dependent on you to be able to run and operate that business. So they call it key man dependent. Well, you can't key man dependent businesses are not as valuable as businesses that can solely run off of just the operations and the systems and processes that you have put into place. So, do I plan on selling? Well, yeah, maybe someday. I'm 55, and I plan on, probably at 75 to probably turn around and say, I don't want to do this anymore, right? But right now it's like, what we've been able to figure out, and with the guidance of Brandon and his team there at Cardone Ventures, we've been able to literally turn around and look at things differently, and set ourselves up for a very bright future going ahead for us. So we've got a real direct plan of what we're going to do in the next 10 years. And once we achieve those goals for where we're going for the next 10 years, then we're going to change and put the flag up at a higher point on the mountain, and we're going to go for that one too. So it's really fun and exciting, and it's great to be able to work with those guys at Cardone Ventures, but it's also great to be able to work with the team members who are with me and on this journey with me. So
That's excellent. And a lot of times it's really good to be able to kind of have a partnership, to kind of build a relationship with, whether that's an consultant, whether that's another a company that specializes in helping facilitate that growth. Definitely can definitely do your business a lot of good. To be able to help get your internal processes in place, to be able to facilitate a growth plan, and to be able to look at things like you said, 10 years from now. You might have that possibility to say, okay, you know what, in 10 years I just want to retire, I just want to, sell the business, and things are in a good shape, it's profitable, it is able to kind of be self-sustaining, and then someone can come in and say, oh, this looks like a really good business that I want to acquire.
Mhm.
So you're putting the foundational things in place now for that at a later time.
Yeah, 100%. And it's just, so people talk about financial planning. It's this kind of business planning is also that financial component of it, and making sure that you got all your ducks in a row when that person or entity comes in and says, now I'm looking at your business. Do you have all the things ready for me, so that all I've got to do is put the money down, and then will this business essentially still continue to function by itself, right? And that's the key of how do you get this to operate that way.
Mhm. No, that is the key. And then along the process, your transformation process that you've been going through, what lessons have you learned that you believe are crucial for other businesses facing similar growth challenges?
I would say the most important thing, and we kind of touched on this a little bit before, is look at yourself, right? What do you need to do? What do you need to invest into yourself in knowledge and education and consultants, to be able to learn and get better at what it is that you're doing. When you change yourself, everything around you changes, and that's like, you know, if I would have known that at 25 versus, 55, I sit there and say, gosh, where would I be now? Right. So, you know, those of you that are out there and you're at 25 years old and you're sitting there saying, well, what can I do to become a millionaire? And what can I do to be, have 10 million or 100 million or 500 million? You know, there's people out there that have done it, right? And when you can follow behind them and know, be able to absorb that knowledge that they've been able to do and pick up the little nuggets that they give you, that gives you that opportunity, so pick a mentor, right? Pick somebody that has been out there, who has doing exactly what you're doing, but has done this and then is at a point to where you want to be. Because if you're at a million, and there are companies out there that have done 100 million, right? So you have to sit there and say, what is it that they're doing, and what knowledge can I gain from them to be able to get myself to that 100 million? So pick that as, your targets. Set your goals, set your targets high, right? I think sometimes people say, start the new year and they give themselves like, well, I'm going to work out and I'm going to lose 10 pounds. Well, you know what? I'm sorry, it's a terrible goal, right? It's good healthy wise, but the factor of you're not setting your goals high enough and so big so that it becomes challenging, right? So is that going to take you a year to get there? Is it going to take you 5 years to get there? Is it going to take you 20 years to get there, right? So set your goals, high, and there's, you look at Grant Cardone and his book, the 10X rule. And that book, goes into goals and goal setting, very, very detailed, and it's putting yourself in the world of being able to read and understand and absorb that kind of knowledge. And you can go to audio books, you can read books. There's all kinds of things that you can do to improve yourself. The other thing is surround yourself with great people, people who are smarter than you, and give them an opportunity to be able to change their lives personally, professionally, and financially, right? And that component of being able to show people and say, okay, here's where we're at right now, here's where we're going, and have a picture painted large enough for them to be able to see themselves in that. That's what's amazing for them, because all of a sudden their world gets to change and what they get to do. So it's how you put and paint that picture for those people, and surround yourself with those amazing people. And the other thing is just be grateful and thankful. I mean, the good Lord above has been very good to me, and I've had been blessed every single day by an amazing family and amazing people who I get to surround myself with, and just be happy and grateful. I mean, I sit there and look at myself and reflect quite often on how great my life is. And is every day peaches and cream? No, it's not, but the reality is, I kind of go through a self-assessment. Okay. So did anybody die? No. Okay. Did anybody lose, arms or fingers or anything like that? No. Okay. Well, you know what? It's really not all that bad. We can fix this. This is solvable, right? So always look at things like that from like, how bad is this, right? And is this a solvable, type scenario? And look at change things around. It's your mindset. So instead of looking at, that's a problem, look at the problem as being a good thing, right? So specifically, like a client comes to you and they're upset and they're mad about the turf, and there's crabgrass and there's some holes in their lawn, right? But the reality is you come in there and you say, okay, this is a problem. I understand and I agree, right? So here's the solutions for that. And sometimes those problems literally turn into opportunities for you to be able to turn around and sell them something else, right? So if you would have turned around and just ran away because I don't want to deal with the problem, now you just missed another opportunity for you to be able to sell something, right? So look at problems as a good thing.
Yeah, and those problems, like you said, can become a good thing, and people do appreciate you being able to address the problem instead of running away with it. And sometimes that not only facilitates, like you said, a new sale, but it facilitates strengthening that relationship because the person can see that, oh, this is a tough situation, or this was the problem that I put in front of them, and they didn't back down, they didn't shy away, they didn't kind of cower over in the corner or not get back to me. They addressed it, acknowledged it. Sometimes you have to admit that maybe, hey, we could have done this differently or better. And people appreciate that transparency. And then that fostering that kind of relationship can help spread word of mouth and referrals. And it can facilitate other growth because they can look at you as, hey, look, this person has done really good work or they've done good by us, and we appreciate that.
Yeah, 100%.
Hmm. Now, as far as internally, we all know that, as a business, you have a vision, you have goals. How do you go about facilitating or really uh, talking to your team and making sure that everyone understands the vision and where you're going?
Well, it's kind of funny because right before I came on the call here with you, I was literally going through what we call a personal, professional, and financial goal conversation with one of my employees, one of my project managers. Her name is Michelle, amazing person, right? But we are also going through her one-on-one. So we've got certain metrics that we go through. So, every 2 weeks we go through those conversations. So we talk about her personal, professional, and financial goals and where they're sitting from a 1 year, 3 year, and 5 year standpoint. And we monitor that. So how is she doing on XYZ goal, right? And is she being able to achieve that? And whether it's a financial one and she's saving to get that, and she wants to be able to put her her daughter through college and give her that first down payment. So she's trying to save up, about $5,000, right? And again, some of those things are things that they have to be able to do themselves, but then she's like, okay, well, what can I do to get there faster? So then that's how the business works together. So, okay, if you put in, we've got this project going on, and if you put in some extra time on that, you could make a bonus on this, or you could make some overtime here, and those are things that how are we aligning as a business to be able to help her achieve those goals that way. So that's a key component of having that constant communication, because then I know where she's at and where she wants to be, personally, and where she wants to be professionally within the business, right? Because if I'm not helping her achieve her professional goals, if she's starts out at point A and wants to get to point, X or Y, how am I helping her and guiding her to get to that point? We go through metrics and what we call the one-on-one component of stuff. So those metrics, she's got certain metrics that she has to adhere to that are key components that we know drives money or dollars to the business. And we monitor and look at those metrics to see how she's doing, because high performers always want to know. They want it. What is the scoreboard? What is it telling me, right? Am I going to win this game? Right. Okay. So now I've won this game. I'm going to go to the next one. Right. And those, that's what's so great about this is we're constantly in communication about stuff, and we're constantly driving to stay in tune with what it is that those people are doing. So I've got, underneath me, 7 that I would call direct reports to me. Right. So those people, are all underneath me, but then those people all have their direct reports. So within the organization, they're doing that to all of their employees too, right? And so then we're constant. So everyone from, the general laborer all the way up to, project manager to, general manager, everyone throughout the entire organization that way goes through those kinds of things on a bi-weekly basis, and we know where they're at. And I think it's been a game changer because we literally get people like, when's my next PPF meeting? I love these things, and I love having conversations about it. Because some of those conversations too are about changing that mindset. Well, what books can I read to be able to, what is it that you did? How do I change this? I'm having this problem with XYZ, and okay, well, read this or look at this, right? And again, sometimes it's you don't know. So, so but that constant communication lets them know too that we do truly care about them, and we want to see them win and succeed in this business. So
And that's excellent that you're able to get that kind of engagement out of your team, and they're looking forward to these meetings and these conversations. And like you said, sometimes you don't have the answers, but being able to be transparent, to be able to have that clear goal and the vision for them and facilitate their growth, and them looking at metrics. And like you said, high performers, that want to perform, they want to be measured against something, right? What am I being measured against? How can I achieve to the next level? How can I outperform myself? And if don't have those things in place, you're kind of hindering them, right? Because they
yeah.
want to keep going above and beyond, and they want to keep putting out more. And if you don't have that framework in place, you could be missing out on a lot of good opportunities.
Well, absolutely, but then also too to realize that high performers will move on too, right? Because if you're not keeping them engaged, and you're not helping them achieve things in life, they're going to move on, and they're going to find somewhere else that is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's true too. Like, with high performers, they're such a there's such dynamic makeup of their personality traits and what drives them and are their output. And like you said, you have to be able to engage with them and be able to kind of help facilitate that growth and achieve their goals too, as well, because it's not just sometimes in the business, all right, well, what do I want to achieve, right? It's like, well, what do your team members want to achieve as well? What are their plans, and being able to be aware of that, it will be able to kind of help set your business up for success. Or at least if you know that change is coming, you can facilitate it to the next person, and maybe you're able to train them up so that if somebody else moves on, then they're able to kind of step in.
100%.
Hmm.
100%.
So, Pat, as we're wrapping up here, and we appreciate these valuable insights around transformation and growth, and experiences all about working on your business, or both businesses as well. What goals do you have? What are you looking to accomplish for the rest of 2024?
Well, 24, we're basically going to be taking our landscaping business and going from 6 million to 8 million. So we've got a big stretch and a big goal there, right? And then our electric side, we're going to go from about 1.1 million to 2.2 million. So basically, we're going to double that this year. And again, all of this is set out and very strategic. So it's like, how have we, now that we've set that goal, how have we set that into place, and what is our plan to get there? So we've got budget set in place, we have people set in place, we have all of this framework for us to be able to win and achieve and succeed at this. So it makes it, even though people talk about growth as uncomfortable, we love being in that world of uncomfortable, right? And it makes it very, very thought out and planned out, that makes that world easy. So my own personal goals, I think Tristan and I are going to try this year. So Tristan's my wife. We're gonna work very hard to be able to get away for 1 month next winter. So that is going to be, that's a big goal for us to be able to achieve that. And we're excited for that. And I think that the next goal for us from a financial standpoint is continuing to and for us, it revolves around business a lot. So, what is the next business that we're going to be buying and acquiring? So, we're eyeing up a couple of businesses right now and have in negotiations and talking with them. We're in the process right now of purchasing some property in a key area for ourselves. So we're looking at growing and expanding and doubling, tripling, and quadrupling here in the next couple of years shortly. So
That's excellent. That's excellent that you have those goals laid out. Really excited to see what happens over the next year and
yeah.
what you might acquire. And that's excellent. And we'll look. Hopefully, we can get you back on next year, and we can hear all about the trip too.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. No, I'd love to be able to have these conversations. So it's all good, David. I appreciate you and I appreciate the time that you're spending with me here. So
No problem. Well, thanks, Pat. We appreciate you coming on the podcast. Everybody, make sure that you subscribe and follow and be able to leave your comments and stay tuned for the next episode. Until next time.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Blueprint Boost for Contractors. We hope you found today's insights and strategies valuable for your contracting business. If you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and please leave us a review. Your feedback helps us bring content that truly matters.